I took different types of methylene blue for a month to see whether or not it makes me feel worse or better. Some say methylene blue is a miracle drug that saved their life, whereas others claim it's toxic and it's going to reduce your energy production.
A healthy human is not benefiting from methylene blue. Get rid of it. It's bullshit. If you have a broken mitochondrial electron transport chain, maybe you benefit in the short term.
I'll be sharing my own experience and the dosage I used in a bit. I'll also have Dr. Scott Scher comment on Paul Saladino's video about methylene blue.
I'm a clinician. My team, there's 4 doctors on the team, including me. We're the only team out there, the only company out there that's been using it in clinical practice. 94% of the US population has mitochondrial dysfunction, number one. So in that population of 94% of people, you have a significant proportion of those that can benefit from methylene blue some of the time.
First, let's talk about the main effects of methylene blue, which is the support of energy production during mitochondrial dysfunction. A lot of people report that methylene blue increases their energy and helps to overcome brain fog, fatigue, or cognitive deficits. Methylene blue acts as an alternative electron carrier that bypasses complex 1 and 3 activity in the mitochondrial electron transport chain. Methylene blue also stimulates complex 4 activity, which increases oxygen consumption and energy output through cytochrome C oxidase. This means that methylene blue can support energy production during mitochondrial dysfunction or damaged complex 1 and 3 in the electron transport chain. However, if you don't have mitochondrial dysfunction or impaired electron transport chain, methylene blue might reduce energy production. That's because it inhibits complex 1 and 3 activity, which is a major contributor to your overall energy.
And the other thing to mention about methylene blue that's interesting from a clinical perspective, what you find is it almost works like an adaptogen. Is what if you need more oxidative stress support because you have antioxidant deficiency or you're doing lots of exercise and you're not recovering well, methylene blue is going to work there primarily. If it needs to be more related to energy donation, so electron donation to the electron transport chain, it's going to do that.
All right, now that this is out of the way, here are the doses I used. For 1 week, I took the liquid methylene blue tincture at a dose of 5 milligrams total per day. I mixed it with a glass of water and drank it. For the second week, I took the methylene blue troches that are like mints that you keep in your cheek or you just swallow. 1 troche was 16 milligrams, so I took 1/4 of the entire thing, and it's easily broken into small pieces.
When it comes to the optimal dose for most people, I really break it into kind of 2 buckets. There is the very low dose. This is 2, 4, 6, 8, up to about 25 milligrams. These are more for mitochondrial optimization, good for mild to moderate mitochondrial dysfunction. So the higher doses, this is around 1 milligram per kilogram to 2 milligrams per kilogram. This is more of your anti-infective dose. And so I use it all the time as an anti-infective at these doses, all for gut infections, for viral infections, fungal infections, in my clinical practice, urinary tract infections as well. Now, you wouldn't want to do this without supervision from a clinician, of course, if you had a medical issue and you needed, another medication at the same time or something like that.
What about my results? What did I experience? Overall, I didn't notice anything. Maybe it's because my mitochondria are working so well and my metabolism is in peak condition that I don't notice a thing. I didn't notice any improvement, but I also didn't notice any decline in my energy or brain performance.
So it's not surprising to me, Siim, you didn't feel a whole lot at 4 milligrams. It's dose dependent for almost everybody. I have some patients that I work with that will feel a huge shift on just like 2 milligrams of methylene blue. Their brain turns back on, their energy's better. But what I would have been interested for you specifically is actually using methylene blue and titrating the dose while you were doing some endurance work overall. My recommendation to you next time, Siim, if you're going to try this, is to titrate your dose. Start off at the 4 milligrams like you did. And after 3 days, if you don't feel much, then increase it to 8 milligrams. Then after about 3 days, if you don't feel much, then increase it to 12.
Second, the taste of methylene blue as a tincture tastes quite bad. It's not horrible, but it's not tasty either. The methylene blue troches, however, did stain my tongue and mouth with blue color for a lot longer. I wasn't very excited about that either because, it makes your teeth and your tongue blue. But fortunately, you can also just swallow the troche immediately, or you can immediately brush your teeth after the fact. I obviously couldn't see if my brain or other organs turned blue, but it's very unlikely in such a small dose.
Methylene blue at very, very high doses, we're talking about 3 milligrams per kilogram IV or higher, used for septic shock, people that were having cardiac arrest, getting CPR. And then as a last-ditch effort, they were getting methylene blue in these high amounts. And then they had postmortems 3 to 5 hours later. This is not surprising that their brains were blue. This is a huge amount of methylene blue. Clinically, we're talking about, as we just mentioned earlier in the video, like 4 milligrams, 8 milligrams, instead of 3 milligrams per kilogram, which is going to be like 240, 200 milligrams of methylene blue in the IV. So it's like exponentially higher there as far as the dosing goes.
Overall, Methylene Blue is very interesting. It doesn't have a lot of clinical trials, but the clinical evidence that we have suggests that it might have some benefits in treating certain conditions that are characterized by mitochondrial dysfunction or energy impairment. As a healthy 30-year-old who is in excellent health, I can't say I noticed anything, but I also didn't experience any decline in my energy, cognition, or well-being either.
The other thing I want to mention is that there is a hereditary disorder called G6PD deficiency, glucose 6-phosphate deficiency. And this is when your red blood cells are more sensitive to stress and they can hemolyze, they can break open under stress. And so very high doses of methylene blue have been described as causing a hemolytic crisis or a red blood cell destruction crisis. This is, again, going to be over 1 milligram per kilogram. It's only been described in IV. You should definitely get a G6PD test. It's very easy to get with any provider, really. The other thing about it being a monoamine oxidase inhibitor is that it increases serotonin and dopamine. So if you're on drugs that increase the amount of serotonin and dopamine around, you have to be careful.
I might see myself using Methylene Blue if I am going to experience some aspects of energy deprivation, such as during flights. If you are flying, especially long-haul flights, then Methylene Blue might come in handy, but I don't see myself using it on a daily basis. There are at least 15 ingredients that do have a solid amount of evidence from clinical trials for various health benefits. Check out my video about the top 15 supplements next.